Minutes after 16-year-old Brenda Spencer started shooting, police officers arrived at the scene ready to take any necessary action in order to avoid any further bloodshed. After neighbors, nearby residents, and all the school children were safely evacuated, police mapped out their strategy. Prepared for either lengthy negotiations or for an assault, police took every precaution to keep onlookers away from the line of fire. Because the house on Lake Atlin is on a winding residential street, crowd and traffic control was not a major problem. After the first SWAT team moved into position, the long waiting game started.
After a week of drinking whiskey and taking the powerful drug PCP, a drug she says she bought at school.
Are there any kids hurt?
The shooting began around 8:30 a.m. A sniper was firing random shots at school children on their way to class at Cleveland Elementary. 8 children and 2 adults, the school principal and a custodian, were felled quickly. The principal and custodian would die. For a while, the sniper, 16-year-old Brenda Spencer, kept police at bay, firing from her house across the street from the school at anything that moved. A police trainee was shot while trying to assist a wounded child. Inside the school, 320 students huddled in the auditorium, and just before noon they were evacuated in buses. Anxious parents were reunited with their children. Police had the situation in hand now. While SWAT units approached and surrounded the house, police, parents, and friends negotiated with Brenda Spencer on the phone. She was armed with a .22 caliber semi-automatic with a scope and may have taken drugs and alcohol. She at first refused to talk surrender, claiming she could hold out for a week. But towards 3 p.m. it became a question of surrender or SWAT people storming the house after a tear gas barrage. Shortly after 3, the word was out that Spencer would give it up, and then she did. SWAT officers escorted her from the house to custody, and the long and terrible San Carlos sniper siege was over.
The most seriously injured were taken out as soon as the gunfire let up. Surgical teams at Alvarado Hospital went to work on the first 6 victims and quickly requested that no more of the injured be sent to the already overtaxed hospital. The school's principal and custodian were among the victims brought here. Principal Burton Wragg died in surgery. Custodian Mike Suchar was dead on arrival. At Grossmont Hospital, another 4 children were brought in by police ambulance. Each had suffered gunshot wounds in the sniper attack, but hospital officials quickly pronounced their conditions as good. Concerned parents began to arrive. Not knowing yet whether their children were among the injured, they chose to wait here together rather than at home alone.
Brenda's father has never spoken about his daughter's childhood or the events of that Monday morning in 1979. Wallace Spencer has never given an interview. While out in San Diego, we discovered he still lives in the house from where the shooting took place. And then, while we were filming the school, Brenda's father suddenly appeared. But as soon as he saw the camera, he hurried back into the house.
I want to say the human side, the compassionate side says, let's let her out. 27 years, it's time to go. The police officer side, and of course the retired police officer side, says, hey, let her die in prison.
What would be your reaction if she did get parole next week?
I'd get my guns out, I'd put them back together, and I would load them. And I would start carrying a weapon again.
Do you remember much about what occurred?
Not a lot. I'm sure I did it. I just don't remember everything in sequence.
Do you remember the shooting itself?
I don't remember the shooting itself.
You don't?
No.
All right.
I don't remember it, but I'm sure it happened. I'm sure I did it.